Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Fast, doing everything to magnify the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwaf in this thing that actually sincerely reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts of our foremothers on fire for the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwaf that are not married as of yet. Building up their households, you understand, reverencing the church, doing everything they could do to magnify the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the children in this thing, abstaining from all lust, concupiscence, and peer pressure, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. And last but not least, another strong one to the whole entire nation, reading, praying, fasting, doing all of the works of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right, it's going to be a quick video on not being a hypocrite in this truth, man. And the Lord will actually kill you. You have to understand how deep this truth is. This truth isn't a game. You can't pose in this truth. You can't pose to be a woman of God, submissive to your husband, loving, taking care of the children, cooking, cleaning, reverencing, magnifying the name, fasting. You have to do these things in a sincere spirit. And then you turn around and you're really a wicked woman, man. You're really a double-tongued, evil, adulterous woman that turns her back on the commandments in the Lord, man. You don't want to be a wicked man. You know, just a hypocrite, an idolatrous man, a man that does not care about the well-being of the church, your nation, your family. You pose like you're in this truth. You pose like you're on fire. You pose like you actually care and you have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but secretly within your mind, your reins, your spirit, your soul, your understanding, and deep, deep, deep down within you, you don't actually believe, man. You don't actually care. You don't really have the fear of the Most High in you, man. Your fear is predicated on other men's fear, about a feast day that's coming up, about how you feel that exact second, man, how spirits are on you, man. These things shouldn't predicate your truth, whether you're a hypocrite or not in this truth. You're supposed to be blameless like Samuel, man, on fire like Daniel and Noah, and these men that actually cared and reverenced Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right, let me pull this quick precept. Let's go to the book of 1 Thessalonians, right, chapter 2 and verse number 4. And it reads, but as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel. So literally the apostles were put in trust by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You don't know how a lot of men are put in trust over their households, their families. The Lord didn't trip and fall and give you a wife, man. The Lord didn't trip and fall and put you in a congregation. The Lord didn't trip and fall and give you a head. And the Lord said, as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel. The Lord put you in trust of something for you to run it. You understand? For you to be on fire. For you to diligently inquire and keep the garden in order. Not to be a hypocrite in the garden. Not to go off and not care, be a man pleaser. It says, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but Yahweh. And a lot of hypocrites, they please men. They do what man wants to hear. They wear their garment, they shalom, they cut. Soon as you leave camp, you're not on fire anymore. You're masturbating. You're hating your brother. You're watching lewd TV shows, man. You're occupied in folly all day long and you're idle, man. A lot of women, they fame themselves. You know, shalom, sis, all praises. What it needs to be cooked, what needs to be clean. How can I help? How can I give alms? As soon as you're not around somebody, what are you doing, man? You're watching TV all day. You're gossiping. You're on your phone all day. Idle time. You're a hypocrite, man. Hey, if our foremothers and our forefathers were on the earth, there'd be no such thing as YouTube. There'd be no such thing as the Maury Show. There'd be no such thing as a lot of folly that a lot of men bow down to with your idols, man. So you have to understand, first and foremost, we're putting trust with the nation. We're putting trust with the gospel of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now, if we act and feign ourselves as workers, we act and feign ourselves as men of understanding, the Lord will actually kill you. What would happen if a doctor, he's literally a licensed doctor, he goes in for surgery? Hey, man, what that man practices and his understanding, Lord willing, that surgery will come out well. But what if that man doesn't have a PhD? You know, he lied, he posed, he put on a white, you know, robe and little doctor things on, and he has this and and he poses himself to be a doctor. What's going to happen? Hey, that man he's doing surgery on is going to die. Right? Let's go to the mighty book of Proverbs 26 and 26. This Proverbs chapter 26 and verse number 26. Right? And it reads, whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. So the Lord said a lot of men, their hatred is covered by deceit. Meaning they'll shalom you. They'll say how you doing. A lot of people hate people in this truth, man. They hate other camps. They hate their husbands. They hate things, man. It says whose hatred is covered by deceit. You have to ask yourself, are you deceitful? Deceitful isn't just robbing somebody all the time. Or selling somebody something for damn $1,000 when it really costs you $500. Your actions and how you move in this truth can make you deceitful. It says whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness should be shewed before the whole congregation. That's why whenever somebody falls out the truth, it's always in front of everybody. Somebody house out of order, it's always in front of everybody. Somebody not on fire and they slothful and they're not coming to camp, it's before everybody. Because the Lord makes you an example. He takes your spirit and he makes sure that everybody can see what you've been battling in the dark, man, because you've been a hypocrite. The Lord doesn't embarrass you because you fall down. You may not be on fire one day. You're trying to fast. You're trying to get your spirit together. You and your wife, y'all not on good terms, but you're really trying. You're fasting. That the Lord doesn't do. But when you're hateful, you're manipulative, you actually don't care, you don't have faith. These are the attributes where the Lord looks down upon man and says, this man is a hypocrite. You know what? I'm going to show his wickedness in front of the whole congregation. And you don't want that to happen. Because the Lord will do that to you, man. What happened to the men in the wilderness? You understand? They had a council going on. It had to be for weeks or months. You don't just round up all of those princes and nobles, man, hundreds of them, to come against Moses. That was the strategic plan and council that had to been going on for weeks and weeks, man, if not months, to overthrow Moses and gain preeminence. But what did the Lord do in front of the whole congregation? He killed those men because they were hypocrites, posing themselves to be princes, nobles, for the nation. You understand? But inwardly, they were moving in a deceitful spirit. They had preeminence to be a judge, to be a leader. And what did the Lord do? He cast them down in front of the whole congregation. Let's go to the mighty book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 29. And take good heed what thou speakest. What comes out your mouth as to be marked as truth. You don't want to have a child ball game, and then they never show up. I'm going to take you out for ice cream. You never take them out for ice cream. How much more the Lord, man? You're literally an ambassador for Salakia. Most High willing, we back. Right? Satan trying to take away the word. Right? I'm going to read that again. It says, extol not thyself, lest thou fall and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And God so discovereth thy secrets. Because a lot of men have secrets in this truth, man. You have a lot of wicked things about you that you got going on behind closed doors, man. Are you secretly doing things that only Yahweh Shem Yahushua and the angels know? You got to really ask yourself, what am I doing when nobody's around? Because the Lord will discover your secrets, man. Let you say you don't smoke, and then you're smoking behind closed doors. Let you say to fast, and you're really not fasting. Let you say to be on fire, you're really not being on fire. Let you say not to hate your brother, not to hate your sister, to do good works, to clean, to be on fire, to read, to build up a nation, and you're the main one not doing it. You're not caring. What is the Lord going to do? He's going to discover thy secrets, man. It says, and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation. So falling out the truth isn't always, whatever you may deem it to be. Falling out the truth, you can fall out the truth by being a hypocrite, man. It says this, because thou camest not in the truth to the fear of the Lord. A lot of men come in the truth for multiple wives, money, preeminence, to be a judge, to be a leader, be some type of noble and prophet and shake the hand and get 1,000 views. It says, but thy heart is full of deceit. What does it mean your heart is full of deceit, man? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse 7. And he brought me to the door of the court. And when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, Son of man, Dig now in the wall, and when I had digged in the wall, behold the door. So the Lord is giving Ezekiel a vision to dig in the wall of the court, man. These where the chambers are, where the priests are. To dig in the wall means it's behind the wall. A lot of people, they hide money behind wall, drug dealers. They hide gold, silver, some type of talents, and they hide precious stones and things behind walls, man. A lot of ancient, old drug dealers in the 70s, the 80s, right? All of these men in the 90s, they'll hide stuff in the wall. It says to dig in the wall behind the door. And he said unto me, go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. Now, on a deeper level, a wall would be like a symbolic, you understand, of your house, your body. We're temples, man. So if you actually dig behind that first layer, what are you doing? What's in your body? What's in your temple? What are you entertaining, and what's really in your mind and your reins when you go deeper than what you say? You go deeper than what men can see. It says, so I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things. So these men are supposed to be priests, man. They're supposed to be the ancients. They're supposed to have the understanding and the leadership for the nation. But when you took those men and you inquired and you went deeper into them, and when you go deeper into somebody, that's talking about their mind, man. Because a brother could smile, he could laugh, he could joke, but inwardly, he's suffering demons, temptation, folly, vanity, drunkenness, emulation, sedition, strife, vanity. All of these different things are in this man's mind that's corrupting him, huh? It says, every form of creeping things, an abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about, man. So when you actually dug down deep in this wall in the chambers, and you looked around all of these walls, you had four-footed beasts, fowls of the air, creeping things, ants, lizards, right? All type of damn squirrels and pigs and all these wicked, abominable beasts painted on the walls, man. It says, and they stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. So that could let you know, just because you've been in this truth for a while, may have a set level of understanding. You could be known as an ancient man. You could have the wisdom. You understand if you're Yahweh Shemi Abusha. That doesn't mean that you can't be a hypocrite. You can't go off. Because if you've seen these men in the streets, a lot of men will salute them. They'll rise up for the hoary head. They will show these men respect and honor. But inwardly, they were full of deceit. And there were 70 of them, of the ancients of the house of Israel. In the midst of them, Jenaniah and the son of Shimnah, and every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, man? A lot of people got nasty fetishes in the dark, lewd sex demons, masturbation, hatred. They're doing all of this in the dark, man. So when you see your brother, you're not going to see his spirits all the time. He's not going to come and be mopey all the time. I lost my job. And you're not going to always see that, man. Or that sister, I got to talk to you. I need counsel. It's going to be certain things hidden in plain sight, man. It says, every man in the chambers of his imaginary, for they say the Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. And you may say that deep within your mind and your spirit, that the Lord has forsaken me, man. The Lord's not watching. The Lord's always watching you. Every single time you think, you understand, and you don't act on it, you understand, that's off. You may, she look good, and all that. And then you sitting up there, your mind's not right. The Lord's documenting all of that down, man. Let's go to the mighty book of 2 Kings, right real fast, 17 and verse 9. Hypocrisy is a big thing in this truth, man. You don't want to entertain that old man and that new man at the same time. When nobody's around, you listening to rap music, cussing, drugs, 808s in your trunk, and you turn into a nigga, man. But when somebody comes around, you switch up the music. You put your fringes back on. That's a hypocrite, man. This the book of 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse number 9. And the children of Israel did secretly those things which were not right against the Lord their God. So secretly is a lot of things being done in the dark. Secretly. Everything's not in front of everybody. And don't think your wife tells you everything. Or don't think your husband tells you everything. Don't think you even tell everything to the church. Don't think you tell everything to your mother or your father or your best friend. There's certain things that you do, only you know you do, man. Whether it be your thoughts, whether it be inside your members, you understand? Whatever it is that you got going on and it's secret, the Lord is beholding it all, man, which makes you a hypocrite. So when people fall, when people are given to sins and their mind not right, they could be secretly battling a grudge. They could be secretly battling bitterness, hatred. They could be secretly battling these demons that nobody knows they're battling but them and the Lord, man. That's why secret sins. It says, in the children of Israel, they had secretly those things which were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced cities, man. Check that out. And they set them up images and groves and high hills under every green tree. So you could secretly put places, and a high hill is where they would do animal sacrifice, or they would do that to a false god upon the high hills. But the high hills had a thick grove, which was a green tree over top of it. So they feel like they will be hidden. So if you got a green tree, right, if you can see this real fast, bear with me. They'll have a tree right here. And they'll go right under the tree where they feel like they're safe, where you cannot see in the midst of that tree. You know what they'll do? They'll do animal sacrifices and God knows what else, man. That's why the Lord likens a similitude, you understand, to those men in the garden. Adam, you know, he was hiding amongst the trees, man. You don't want to hide amongst the trees, these nations, to try to cover yourself from your sins that you got going on. Let me get that in the book of Genesis. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, right? Let me get this quick precept. And verse number 8. I'm going to start at 7. It says, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons, man. So who told them that they were naked? Who told them they was going off? So you know what they did? They plucked off all of the nations. They took this leaf and this leaf. They took a little bit from right here, a little bit from right there, and they sewed themselves together so they wouldn't be naked and bare. That's what Jake do to this very day, man. You start going off, you start seeking scientists, you start seeking philosophers, different books. You go to this doctor, you start going off, man. You're seeking these theologians, you're seeking Christianity, and you're trying to sew it all together. Why is my life out of order? Let's see what Dr. So-and-so says. What does Dr. Umar Johnson has to say about this? Then you start looking it up. What does this doctor have to say about this? You start looking up all of these different philosophies and doctrines instead of coming back to the Lord, man. And you start to sow yourself and make sure that you're covering yourself, and you're in the midst of sin. You're a hypocrite, man. It says, they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves. They hid themselves because they were ashamed. You want to be able to walk in the midst of the sun, man, in sight of the nations, and be glorified for your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, like it should be in the book of Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, man, verse 6 all the way down. But nevertheless, a lot of men, they're hiding themselves. They're creeping around. They're embarrassed because they're living a life worth of shame and hypocrisy. They were hypocrites. I mean, that's plain upon tables. You know, Adam fell through the midst of a woman, but this woman was supposed to honor her husband, man, from the foundation of the earth. She tripped, she fell, she was given over, you know, to sin. And through sin, Adam fell with her. So fell all of humanity. Let's go to the book, right, of Romans chapter 2 and verse 16. So that's why the Lord made them naked in front of everybody, because of the hypocrisy, man. The Lord told them not to do something. He said he was going to move in that spirit. Nevertheless, he didn't. So the Lord had them naked before all. And not just back then in the ancient time, but even naked to this very day, man. We're reading generations later that Adam was bare. Let's read this. Let's go to the book of Romans, right? Let me get this quick precept. Chapter 2 and verse number 16. In the day when Yahweh shall judge the secrets of men by Yahweh Shai, according to my gospel. So Paul even said that the Lord is going to judge the secrets of men, man. The secrets of men that men are doing in the dark, the Lord is going to judge in that day. So as you're thinking that you're hiding things and You know, you're putting on a facade and you're making yourself to where so-called you're not being known for the things that you're doing and you're getting away with murder. You know, the Lord, you know, he deals with a lot of suspense. It's a lot of drum rolls with the Lord, man. Feel like you got away, this, that, for a mighty car accident, a mighty breakup with your household, a mighty death in the family, you know, a bone being broken. And you think you're getting away with these things, or a mighty destruction, man, in World War III, or suffering of a famine. The Lord said in the day. Why is it always in the day? You're not going to be judged immediately, right? For the things that you're doing and the situations that you're going through. The secrets of men by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, according to my gospel. And the Lord may bear with you. He may give you a little mercy and grace, and then get yourself together, but you keep intermingling with sin, hypocrisy, lies, right? Think nobody sees you. The Lord is going to destroy you, man. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. You don't want to be a hypocrite, man. The Lord's not a hypocrite. Let's see the spirit that the Lord moves in. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 9. For my name's sake, I would defer my anger. So the Lord said, for my name's sake, meaning no matter how mad the Lord got at us, for his name's sake, meaning the honor and the word that he has possessed and said that he will do, man. And you may be so mad, you know, at your wife. You said you was going to take her out on a date. And you said, nah, I ain't take you out on a date no more, man. We just reading, man. You go in that room, I go in this room. And you broke your word. You may tell your so-called kid you was going to do something for him, and then you don't do it for him, man. Because you got mad or some plans came up. And the Lord don't break his word. The Lord is very high on honor and respect. You understand? The Lord's not a hypocrite. He's not going to say he's going to do something and then not going to do it. No matter how much we went off as a nation, idolatry, sex, lewdness, drugs, the valley of the dry bones, man. I mean, we completely turned our back on the Lord 7 times over. We worshipped images, bowed down to idols, kissed wood, made sex with the other nations and mixed the holy seed, you know, just loved America and trusted in oppression. All of that for the Lord's name's sake, man. Because the Lord isn't a hypocrite. He's going to bind us up, heal us, and take care of us in the last days. It says, for my name's sake, I will not defer my anger. And for my praise, I will refrain for thee, that I cut thee not off. So the Lord said, I care more about my name than I do the own nation, man. Check that out. You're supposed to care so much about your name and what you say than actually what's going on behind it. Because that's true honor right there, man. If you say to yourself, you know what, to your mom, you know, mom, I'm going to be there for you on your deathbed. I'm going to love you. I'm going to take care of you. You know, I may have to change a diaper, push you in a wheelchair. I'll never forsake you because I'm going to honor my mother and my father. You know, but your mom, she said, man, I hate you. And JJ's my favorite son. You like, JJ, man, F that. And then you walk off. Man, I ain't dealing with my mom, man. You broke your word. You're not moving in that spirit, man. You know, you may tell your wife you'll never leave her, but when things get thick, you know, you're getting another wife. Hey, the Lord said, for my name's sake, let me read that again. For my name's sake, I would not, Slaki, I will defer my anger. And for my praise, I will refrain thee, that I cut thee not off. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake, even for my own sake, I will do it. For how should my name be polluted? So the Lord's asking a question. How is my name going to be polluted amongst you, man? How can anybody pollute my name? I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, man. I told you I'm going to pick you up, and I'm going to glide you, and I'm going to build you up with strength. I'm going to refine you as silver and gold. I'm going to give you the kingdom of heaven. There's not an amount of wickedness Jake can do that I want to put the spirit on the earth to build you back up and put the spirit back in you, man. To breathe, to prophesy, to be directed, to be led as sheep is a shepherd, man. It says, and I will not give my glory unto another. So you don't want to give your glory unto another, man. Another could be a demon. Another could be your wife. Another could be your children. Another could be your congregation. It could be your brother. It could be your sister. You don't want to give your glory to another, man, and take the crown off your head. Your name and your word and your bond should be everything, man. It should never be broken. My father used to tell me when I was younger, you know, this is impossible, you know, but nevertheless, he used to always say, if I tell you a mosquito can hitch a plow, hitch him up, man. And that's that old South talk. You know, a plow hitching it is the oxen, you know, to break down, you know, the dirt, and cast fitches and seeds, you understand, and bring forth the harvest. But my father used to say, if I tell you a mosquito can hitch up a plow, meaning instead of an ox being there, it was a mosquito, and the mosquito taking the ox, so like it taking a plow, and he's hitching the ground, he said you better hitch him up. Meaning I never will break my word if I'm speaking something to you, man. And you can't be a hypocrite. You say something, mean it, man, and move in that spirit. Don't be double-minded. Should I do this? Should I not? Or maybe tomorrow. You don't want to be a fool and lewd and giving yourself over to a reprobate mind, and however the elements of the air blow, and what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Next thing you know, your whole spirit is deferred and thrown over, man. Let's go to Romans, the 2nd chapter. It's the book of Romans, right? The mighty book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse number 1. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest, and whether thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. So you got to understand, whenever you tell somebody to do something and you're not doing it, you condemn somebody about something and rebuking them and reproving them, and you're not doing it, the Lord's going to hold you to that same standard. You tell somebody not to commit adultery and then you commit adultery, hey, there's no getting out of that, man. You tell somebody to stay in the spirit, and, and then you don't stand in the spirit, the Lord could give you over to confusion, man, and death. Thou art inexcusable. Man, there's nothing you can do. You're going to be held to that standard. But we, Salakia, verse 2, but we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them which commit such things. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which doeth such things, doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God? So this was written, you understand, to mainly the Jews, because these men were a lot of hypocrites in their actions and the things that they had going on, right? And a lot of priests, a lot of kings. This right here is to, on a deeper level, the elect. You don't want to push something or say something as a teacher, a leader, a noble, a man, even a woman, man. And you don't mean it, and you're not moving in that same spirit, right? Jump into verse, I'm going to start at 18. And knowest his will, and approvest the things that are most excellent, being instructed out of the law, and art confident that thou self art a guide to the blind. And a lot of people, they're confident, thinking they can help, they can counsel, they can direct. They're a guide to the blind, and a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which have the form of knowledge and of the truth and the law. So a lot of people that have the form, meaning they're coming in the light of this. That's why it's so easy to trust a pastor. So easy to trust a father. He's supposed to love you, man, unconditionally. So easy to trust a husband. It's so easy to trust your best friend. But when they move in hypocrisy, they manipulate you, you don't even see it coming, man. It says, let me read that again. It says, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and the truth and the law. Thou therefore, which teacheth another, teacheth not thyself. Because you may teach another person, but you're not moving in that spirit that you're teaching somebody in, man. A lot of people want the meat and the end-up breakdowns, but they're not even completing and keeping the milk, man. They're not keeping the Passover correctly. This spirit isn't right. They're not truly repentant. They're not moving in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They're not truly forgiving. They're not reverencing their husbands. They're not reverencing their wives. But yet you're teaching and telling people to do such things, man. The Lord would destroy you. And the smallest thing you can say, or you could give counsel, will be the main thing that could overthrow you. Yeah, sister, you should respect your husband, da-da-da-da. Yes, you should submit unto what he says. If it's not going against the law, you should do this. Why don't you guys go on a fast? As soon as you get off the phone, man, you get into it with your husband. You raise your voice. You have a demonic spirit. You hold over grudges. You hate your sister. Whatever the case may be, you are a hypocrite, man. It says this. Thou sayest a man should not commit adultery. Doest thou commit adultery? Thou abhorrest idols. Doest thou commit scarlet? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou God, man. So you dishonor your God when you break the law. We know that, but on a deeper level, when you're a hypocrite in the sight of men, you're telling somebody to do one thing and you're moving in another, you dishonor the Lord. For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you. So you could blaspheme the name of the Lord. And we know that is no sin that's going to be, all sins are going to be forgiven, but the blaspheme of the Holy Spirit. So you don't want to blaspheme the name of the Lord and your God by being a hypocrite, treading underfoot the spirit of grace and moving in a different spirit other than what the Most High wants you to move in, man. Right? Let me get this last precept. Right? This is the book of 2 Timothy, right? Chapter 2, chapter 4, and I'm going to start at, this whole thing is fire. I'm going to start at 10. For Demetrius hath forsaken me, having loved this present world. So Demetrius proclaimed himself as a saint. He moved in the spirit. Once upon a time, he followed Paul. He was in the gospel. He probably was shaking the hand and on the ministries and the trips. He did the things that an evangelist is supposed to do. But in his last end, he turned from the truth unto a lie. He was given unto the elements of this world that pulled him in. Because he secretly was a hypocrite, man. I mean, the elect from the foundation of this world, they're not going to fall. There's no doctrine, no manipulation, no vanity, no lie. It's nothing that could pull the elect out of the Lord's hand. So if you're acting like you're in this truth and you're really not, you're not moving in the spirit like you should, the Lord is going to confound you, break you down in the sight of men, and give you over to destruction. Real quick, I'm going to get another quick precept, right, in the book of John, chapter 10. It's John chapter 10, real fast, in verse number 12. It says, but he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is a hireling, and careth not for the sheep. A hireling is somebody you just get paid for the season, man. You're just hired. You're a hireling. Now go ahead, take that grass, cut the grass, take the bag, and then throw it out there, and I'll pay you later. He don't really care about the grass, man. He's cutting the grass. I can't wait to get off. I can't wait to get this check. He's bagging it up. He threw it in the front lawn. He don't care about the lawn. He doesn't care about the grass. He wants that money, man. The same with a lot of brothers in the spirit. They just want the kingdom. They want slaves and women and sex and everlasting life and just partying and wine. And I want slaves. I want to beat Esau. That's your motivation in this truth. But a man that actually cares for his lawn, that's Satan trying to take away the word, man. Right? First I'd have it signal, my phone heating up, temperatures rising, cut your phone off, emergency button bleeping. That's just Satan trying to take away the word, man. Right? But nevertheless, like the point I was making, right? Somebody that actually cares and it's their lawn, they're going to be trimming it up, man. They're going to be taking away the thorns, the weeds, the pollen, everything destroying that house. They're going to be the ones that actually care for it, man. And that's how you got to be in this truth. If you actually care for the sheep, man. Don't be a brother in word, but not a brother in deed. Let me get this up. Let me read that again. It's John chapter 10 and verse number 13. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling. And you can flee back in the world, flee back into your comfortability, flee under a tree, flee for protection. You can flee from the refuge of the true and living Most High God, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because you don't really care for the sheep. You don't really care for your wife. You don't really care for the congregation. You don't want to be that type of man. It says, because he careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and I am known of mine. Check that out, man. So the Lord said, man, I'm the true shepherd. I'm not a hireling. I'm not in this thing for money, for fame, for women. I'm not in this thing for idolatry or just slaves or the kingdom. I'm in this thing because I actually care for the sheep. And I want to build up the sheep, man, because I love the sheep. So you want to move in that type of spirit to where you're not a hypocrite, man. If you say you're going to do something, keep your word and do it, man. All right, let me get 2 more precepts and close out. All right, it's the book. Right of Numbers, the class, chapter 23 and verse number 19. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. He said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and it shall not make it good? So the Lord said, God is not a man that he shall lie. Meaning when something comes out of the Lord's mouth, it's impossible for the Lord to do one thing. That's a lie. The Lord can do all things, but he can't lie. Right? He cannot lie. So if the Lord speaks something, you best believe it's going to come to pass. It says that he should repent. Shall he say it, and shall he not do it? So if you say something, brother, do it, man. Hold yourself to that integrity and honor to keep what it is that you have said. Right? Let me get the book of Job, man. Close out with that. Job chapter 27 and verse number 2. It says, as God liveth, who have taken away my judgment, and the Almighty who have vexed my soul, all the while my breath is in me, and my spirit of God is in my nostrils, my lips should not speak wickedness. So Job bound his mouth, you understand, to a covenant with the Lord that he would not speak wickedness, man. No matter how beat down I am, distressed I am, manipulated by other people, by bad counsel, my household's destroyed, my wife bucking up against me, my friends striving against me, my children are dead, I'm against all odds, Satan is on me. Through all of that, he said, I am not going to sin with my lips. It says, God forbid that I should justify you till I die. I will not remove mine integrity from me. And integrity is the spirit to where no matter who's around, what's going on, I'm going to maintain the level of self-discipline and respect. Because if you actually respect yourself and the Lord, there's certain things you wouldn't do, man. No matter who's around, a camera, a congregation, your wife, hey, the angels are around, the Most High is around. You're supposed to have that integrity about yourself. Not because you want to be some damn high priest. It's because you truly respect and you're truly in his truth. You're not a hypocrite. So no matter if gold, money, women, sex, cars, lifestyle, your chief desires, dreams, things that you want the most are right in front of you, and you're the only one there. That type of level of integrity, honor, respect, humility, humbleness under the commandments, understanding what this truth is all about is going to have you to never be a hypocrite, right, in the eyes of the Most High or in the eyes of men, right? But with that, about to close up and go to camp. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Malak Yahushua. Shalom.